Hi, and welcome to #DevTalk. As always, thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. I absolutely appreciate it. In today's talk, we are basically entering into part 2 of our two-part segment on things to know about you. In part 1, I talked about the importance of knowing your personality and how that actually impacts you in the workplace. So if you've not had a chance to see that, be sure to go back and watch that. In part 2, I am excited to share with you great things that you should know about yourself. So let's jump right into it. The first thing is, what's your learning style? In other words, how do you learn? Here's the thing. In the modern workplace, once you've stepped into it, you're stepping into an environment where continuous learning is taking place. You have to have the mindset of being a continuous learner because technology is changing. There are many times that you have to learn things about a software or there's training and development that's happening. So when you got your degree from university or college or a vocational training, that was not the last time that you're going through the learning process. So that's why it's important for you to know what your learning style is. That way, you can actually learn quicker. So I want to share with you 4 learning styles according to VARC. The first is the visual learning style. So our visual learners, you like graphs, charts, diagrams, videos, posters, slides, flowcharts, maps, as you can observe, just basically different formats of learning. Number 2, oral learners. These folks like discussions, stories, guest speakers, and chats. That's how they really interact and learn best. Number 3, the Readwrite folks. These folks like lists, they like notes, they like text in all formats, whether it's online or in print. And I am a Readwrite person. The thing is, I have to write things down, not simply because I'm trying to remember them, but that's how I actually learn, by writing it down. So it's important for you to know that about yourself. Our 4th group of learners are our kinesthetic folks. These folks like to hear examples of things. They like to read cases. They like to do trial and error or have a hands-on approach. They like to engage in learning with all of their senses. So touch, feel, smell, that's how they learn. So what's your learning style? The next thing you should know about you is your thinking style. When I talk about your thinking style or your thinking process, I'm talking about how you process information, how you organize things, how you solve problems, make decisions. The Peak Performance Center lists about 9 different thinking styles, and I'm going to list them quickly. As always, I've included a link in the description so that you can click on this and see a summary of each one. The first is creative thinkers, analytical, critical, concrete, abstract, divergent, really good movie, convergent, sequential or linear thinkers, non-sequential, or holistic. According to Learning Minds, they state that it's really important to know your learning style so that you can be open to new ideas and so that you can understand how the other people around you think and can tailor the information that they need in a format that makes sense for them. Next one on the list. What's your leadership style? Some of you may already be leading a team or leading a department, and others of you might be saying, well, there's nobody reporting to me, so why do I need to know my leadership style? I feel this very strongly. Your situation right now does not dictate your future. So You may need to know what you're learning, your leadership style is, so that when you're leading that team in the future, you understand yourself better. And it's always great to know so that perhaps it'll help you understand your boss. So there are a few here, and we got these from Indeed.com. The first is coaching leadership. Now, a person with a coaching leadership style, it means that they recognize their team members' strengths, weaknesses, and motivations to help each improve. So this person comes alongside members of their team, they recognize what their strengths and their weaknesses are, and they work with them to help them improve. Number 2, visionary leadership. A visionary leader has a powerful ability to drive progress and change by inspiring employees and earning trust for new ideas. Number 3, servant leadership. Servant leaders tend to put people first. They have a people first mindset. And they believe that when team members feel personally and professionally fulfilled, they're more effective and more likely to produce great work regularly. Servant leadership. Autocratic leadership. This particular leader is focused almost entirely on results and efficiency. They often make decisions alone or with a small group of trusted folks, and they expect employees or the folks that they lead to do exactly what they're asked. Laissez-faire is the other one. And this leader is focused mostly on delegating many tasks to team members and typically provides a little support. Number 6, democratic or participative leadership style. This particular leader asks for input and feedback from his or her team member and does that before making decisions. Number 7, pace setter. This leader is primarily focused on performance. They set high standards and hold their team members accountable for hitting their goals. Transformational leadership. This person inspires and motivates their workforce without micromanaging them. They trust trained employees to take authority over decisions in their assigned jobs. So transformational leadership seems to be common in a situation where the employees are trained or seasoned. Transactional leadership. This particular leader is laser focused on performance, and this particular manager establishes predetermined incentives, usually monetary, and they basically say, here's what you get when you succeed, and here's what you get when you fail. So they're very clear about what the incentives are. And number 10, the bureaucratic leader. This person is focused on fixed duties within a hierarchy. In this hierarchy, employees have a set responsibilities, and there's really very little need for collaboration and creativity. And this typically occurs in highly regulated industries. What's your leadership style? These next 5 items are from the book Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. Do I work well with people, or am I a loner? Now, you and I know that when you're in the workplace, you have to be flexible. You're never going to have it your way every time. So it's important that you're able to do both, but it's equally important for you to know in which particular capacity you function best. Do you function better when you're working alone or when you're working with people? Do I produce results more as a decision maker or as an advisor? I found this really interesting. I don't recall ever seeing this discussed in any of the other books I've read, where he shares that there are people, counselors, who they are not necessarily comfortable making the final decision, but they're really good at giving great advice and insights to that person so that that person can make a steady and a sensible decision. Then you have your decision makers. These folks don't mind carrying the weight of being the final decision maker, because there's definitely a weight that comes with that. They don't mind it, and they definitely benefit from having solid counselors around them. So the question is, in which role do you prefer to function? Which do you feel the most comfortable in? Next one, do I perform well under stress, or do I need highly structured or predictable environments? Again, you and I know that in every workplace, in every role, there's stress. The question is, how much stress and how long does the stress last for? So stress is definitely a part of the reality of having any particular job. But there are folks who they absolutely love working in a stressful environment. They thrive when they're under pressure. And if they were working in an environment that was predictable or structured, they would absolutely be bored and feel like they're not being challenged. Whereas you have other folks where when the pressure and the stress begins to build, it begins to impact their performance in a negative way. It is important that you know this about yourself. Is your performance negatively impacted when you are in a high stress situation? Because that is going to help you make a lot of decisions when it comes on to jobs and when it comes on to the projects that you take on. What are my values? Now, I think I mentioned that these were not listed in any particular order. So even though values are way down on the list, that does not mean that they are not vital. You have to know what your values are and ensure that it aligns, that they align with the organization that you're working for, or else you're going to become really uncomfortable after a while. So what are my values? And we are actually at the last one. This last one is from John Maxwell's book, Intentional Living. And this question is, what's your why? What's your why? He provides us with 3 other questions to help us answer that. The first is, what do you cry about? What causes you so much discomfort that you are motivated to take action and do something to bring healing to that situation? So it's not just about what do you cry about. It's what do you cry about, and then it moves you to do something. The second is, what do you sing about? What makes you jump for joy or spontaneously break into song? The third is, what do you dream about? What if you could do something significant? Something that would impact others and outlast you. What would you do? What's your why? Thanks for staying with me as we've gone through the process of going through these things that you should know about you. I hope that you're finding this information helpful and that you're going to dig into this and really use it to create a type of dossier about yourself, because that's definitely what I've done. I'm not telling you to do something that I haven't done. Dig into this. I've included all the links so that it's conveniently listed for you to just click on the link and really begin to explore the depth and the beauty that is you. That's our talk for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please remember to like and to share. I also want to make a quick announcement that going forward, that our hashtag Deb Talks are going to be available every other week. Again, thank you so much for joining me and have a wonderful work week.